Welcome back to the Post-Grad Academy. My name is Charlie as always, and unfortunately we have Nick again here. Can't seem to lose him, but today we have a very special guest.
We have AJ Comedy. He has a pretty popular TikTok where he does impressions and sketches of a lot of popular people in the business world today, and I think they're just hilarious.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to be here.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no problem.
AJ, can you tell a little bit about your story about like how you became this comedic genius?
Well, I stumbled upon the great wise impressionist wizard who blessed me years ago in a cave. I love that. How I became a comedic genius. Good question. Basically, the story is that I have been a musician. As you can see behind me, I got my whole home studio here. I've been a professional musician, composer, producer for a good part of a decade. That was my main professional pursuit for a long time. And I had always made a lot of music growing up, played in bands in high school and college, and then began doing it professionally afterwards. I've done a lot of work for film and TV, a lot of advertising. I have a band based in Los Angeles called Distant Cousins. So I was really full steam ahead in my musical pursuits and ambitions for a long time. And as a comedian, I was always socially in my social circles, making people laugh, doing impersonations of everyone around me, all the way back from in school to the teachers, friends, whatever. It was mainly, though, something I did on a social level, not a professional level. And I think it's mainly because there weren't really these platforms for a while that I was able to find a means to get that stuff out there. And I just was really busy making music over the last decade. So it was all good. But comedy was really kind of this neglected child I had over the years, where I really did have a whole range of different things I wanted to share creatively, but it just was, the timing wasn't right. I wasn't consciously not putting things out there, but in any event, here comes TikTok, along comes TikTok. And I decided to treat this social media platform differently than others in the past. Where other platforms in the past, I think I made the mistake of treating them too much like promotional platforms, where I would get on there and say, hey, come check out this, come check out that, playing a concert here, doing this and that. And I never thought of them as real content creation spaces. So on TikTok, I just experimented with, it was still fairly not a household name yet, and I was posting just impressions on a daily basis. And am I okay to curse on this podcast? Just in case okay, cool. So I just started for about a couple of months posting. In 2019, I began posting on Instagram, like musical tidbits, live looping stuff, occasional impressions and things. And I was trying to just sort of find my content identity of what I was going to make. And then on TikTok, I began posting daily. I said, I'm just going to do this consistently. And that was my main difference. I would post every day, 5 days a week, at least one video. And that was like my main way to build up the fitness regimen of posting on a consistent basis. And then one day I'm in my car, I come across some video of a little known guy named Gary V. And I was like, oh, I haven't done an impression of him yet. Let me try one of those in the car. So I'm sitting in the car. I throw my phone up. It's like 4 p.m. on a Wednesday or something. And I was just like, I'm just so sick of fucking 40-year-olds like complaining that they're not killing it, okay? Right? Like, if you want to win, fucking move to Louisiana and start a fucking peanut butter brand. Right? Like, fucking peanut butter, right? So I'm like literally holding the phone afterwards. I'm like, yeah, can I do that again? Should I post it? Should I not post it? I don't know. Post it. And mind you, this was after 2.5 months of posting every day with not much results, not much interaction, a couple people liking here and there, some comment here and there, but not a ton of views or traction. But then that one popped off. Long story short, I leaned into that impression pretty hard because that one got to like 500,000 views within a few days. It got featured on Barstool Sports' Instagram to like 7 million people. And it changed my audience from a couple of hundred followers to a few thousand. The same thing happened with an impression I did of Jordan Peterson on my YouTube, where I posted this one quick 1-minuter that I didn't, think about, but it sort of made my YouTube from 50 people subscribing to like, a couple of hundred, couple thousand, building up from there. And the lesson was that I think after a while of doing things consistently, finally I was able to create the opportunity for something to expand to a wider audience. It wasn't that I don't believe in this lottery game when it comes to entertainment and content and anything that you do. I really believe in the consistency, and that eventually creates the opportunity. And luckily I had all these videos when people would come to my profile that they could see everything I'd been up to. And I was sort of prepared for it. And then I got some advice from other content creators about if things are working and resonating, lean into them a little bit more. So again, I just try to now do funny content videos along with musical stuff that I do. And I'm in that development phase, which is the long grind, hard work of building up a loyal audience to eventually, have a good supportive relationship with, to keep making people laugh and keep
Of
people.
course. I'm gonna actually share my screen if that's okay to one of your videos that I really like, absolutely loved. Here it is.
What up? I run a small business and we're having major cash flow problems. Positivity. Yeah, but Gary, we're in serious debt. Perspective. And we're losing customers daily. I love to lose. How are we supposed to turn this around? Gratitude. We need more sales and customers, Gary. What do you think we should do? Empathy. You don't think this advice is a little bit generic? Nope. You really think it works? Yup.
Awesome.
Hey, Gary. What up? I run a small business.
The humility one really got to me. The one that, like, your most recent post, I thought that one was hilarious.
Which one?
Where, like, he says he knows the answer to everything, but then what's the most important quality? Humility.
Yeah, I did that yesterday.
That was so funny. And so, so what do you actually think of Gary Vee? I mean, obviously,
I was curious about that.
Yeah, like, you do funny skits and impressions of him, but I mean, do you respect him as someone in the business world, or?
If I had hate for Gary Vee, it would not be cool what I'm doing. I don't think. I think it would come from a weird, dark place. Like, that's a question I get a ton in the comments. I never answer it because it's just kind of funny. Okay. If you can't figure out that, like, it's all. I'm not even trying to make fun of Gary Vee per se as much as it's trying to be funny. I'm trying to. When you're doing comedy, you're just trying to find the funny in anything. The goal is funny. All Gary Vee says, if you're listening to him, is stop listening to me and start doing stuff and be productive and put yourself out there. He's not saying anything else. I get it. Obviously, I'm making jokes about it, so there is funny there, and there's platitudes and advice that is somewhat generic, but that's because there are no real definitive answers to anything other than trying things, experimenting, putting yourself out there. Stop complaining, be humble, all that kind of stuff. There's a little bit of an easier said than done thing that comes off, that Gary risks coming off that way, but at the same time, if you really pay attention, he's if you're getting serious about it, that's all he's saying is stop wasting time, stop listening to me, stop complaining, put in the work, which is kind of what I'm doing, and take that advice seriously. And and then, of course, he's a personality and there is funny to be found there. So I just like taking his advice and cranking it up a notch to say ridiculous, actual terrible advice. That's always funny when I go there. And then I always enjoy doing that. And then, I understand the perceptions of Gary or the false perceptions or whatever. So I exaggerate those things, like that actual advice video you just played, where he literally was, answering with platitudes that make no sense and have no. Exactly. But it's exaggeration, and that's what's kind of funny about impersonations and writing.
Like some of the conversations he actually has.
You have to be just close enough so that it's believably him, but also.
Yeah.
Also, otherwise, you're just literally just doing a mimic. I'm not doing bit for bit what he does. That's sort of showcasing a skill. That's fine. But I'm not really, to me, impersonations and impressions are fun, but they're really mainly a tool to showcase and enhance funny. The funny's in the writing and the ideas that I try to put together.
I had an idea for a show a while ago, and I think you'd be perfect for it, honestly. It would be like, kind of, they bring in celebrities, so like Gary Vee, and then someone, because I've seen like impersonations of like a bunch of different celebrities, and they both be behind like a black curtain, both saying something that they would say a lot, and seeing if the audience can like guess who the real Gary Vee is.
I've thought of that too. That's a funny thing that you thought that of like the actual person and then somebody doing impressions, and you have to guess who said what.
I don't think I could, honestly. You do a spot on impression. Can you do other impressions, like a lot of other impressions?
Sure.
Like if we played like a little game where I said a person and then Nick said a person, could you try to do the impression of that person?
I'm down. Who do you got? Let's see.
Let's start off with a basic one. Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter. Yeah, him I probably don't have down. I have to immerse. But I mean, that part I can do. I could do probably better. There's a lot of Snape impressions out there. Potter, Mr. Potter. But I mean, I have to get into it again and get it down. Like there's different. He aged in the film, so there's like like if I was thinking Ron, right? I immediately will like. The way I kind of process doing an impersonation is, and I have to see them as if they're reflections of me and see what I see. So Ron was like, or when Voldemort is doing a spell, right? He would go, "Look at the
You gotta put yourself in their shoes.
Every time he do something, it was like this.
I can't even do an impression.
So I always found that very funny when you watch the movies. I don't think I have a Harry Potter. I haven't explored that. I probably could work it out. But there's like, I enjoy doing Voldemort more. That always made me laugh. Every time he did a spell, he was like having an orgasm. And he couldn't just go zoom. He had to go, I liked his
little, whole body into it.
I could do it 1,000 times and I enjoy it. Yeah, let's keep going. I like this. Rapid fire.
Nick, you got one?
I mean, I like Arnold, kind of an easy one, but you got that?
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I also did a Dumbledore. Fox is a phoenix, Eddie. He dies. That's the original Dumbledore, right? Fox is a phoenix, Eddie. He dies and is reborn from the ashes. But then there's the other Dumbledore, Snape, Severus. Please, you know, had a little more of a upfront voice there. Severus, you're going to have to kill me, Severus.
What?
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, the thing is, he's so done already that I'd be doing an impersonation of an impersonator. Oh, get down! What are you doing? Get out there for? Of course. You know, it's sort of a little bit, you know, not my own. A lot of times you have to kind of crack the impression. So there's some amazing Arnolds out there. Yeah. I recommend following a few people I know. Joe Gaudet on TikTok is the best Arnold impersonator if you follow him. Joe Gaudet.
And so impressions, there's just always been something you're good at, or do you have to like practice them, like get into them, or just ever since you're little, you're just grinding?
Yeah, it's not the most technical of art forms because there isn't like a school of impressions. There isn't a way to do it as much as it's having good ears musically and a sense of. I've always been able to sort of hear and watch somebody and then be able to naturally shape my mouth the way they're doing it. Or, you know, I can connect the dots there. Not all impressions happen right away. Sometimes you have to be like, what is the thing? You know, like with Gary Vee, the first time I was like, what is the thing? Oh, it's like they'll do something that's like signature and then you latch that and then you can extrapolate the rest of the impression. You know, like, okay, ultimately, okay, right, like, and then a lot of impressions really stem down to the body movements and the gesticulation. That's like, if I could do Gary without doing Gary, without saying anything, you just like.
Yeah, exactly. Just the facial expressions.
I love it so much. Yeah.
All right, I got another one.
Yeah.
Dixie D'Amelio.
Yeah, that one's I have to check it out. I mean, I've done Charlie on my with Gary. I don't know if you've seen those bits, but I have Charlie. Charlie's more like a little bit like. See, girls are a little harder, but I have a Charlie D'Amelio here. There's a funny one I did with Charlie and Gary. You guys should check it out. Search like Charlie and Gary V interview.
It's just it's so funny.
You can find it on TikTok, and that one, I like that one. Did well. That was a fun one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
Dixie, I don't know as well. I'd have to hear it.
Okay.
So why'd you find TikTok is like the easiest way to reach a followers or create or as a platform to put on your impressions and skits?
First of all, I didn't know that it necessarily would be. I was just trying it as the newer one. And I just find that TikTok is really the most creative space. It lends itself to creativity. You don't go on TikTok and like post a status update. Yeah. You know, you don't go there and post duck face like, some people do, but it really demands that you put something out worth putting out, or at least putting in some effort. I
love a good classy duck face, honestly.
I mean, there's good built-in features within the app to actually enhance your videos, edit your videos, all that. So it has the least amount of resistance for creative output. Whereas other times, it can be a lot to, you know, set up your cameras, do your thing, shoot the footage, edit the footage, put it in. If I'm doing more high resolution stuff, which I do, and I usually feed that to YouTube, but I'm starting to do it to TikTok more too. If it's wider angle stuff or wide horizontal as opposed to vertical, I'll put that to YouTube and I'll throw clips of it to TikTok. But TikTok was just so immediate. You can literally throw up a 7 to 15 second video, like the one I posted yesterday that you enjoyed was 12 seconds, and I can do it really quickly. Yeah. So TikTok is the least amount of resistance, and it enables creativity within the app, which I thought was really And like using TikTok is it can drain you, but it's the most enriching of all the wasted time platforms. To go on a TikTok dive is probably.
I could agree with that actually. It definitely seems to be the most.
I can find myself spending hours in bed on TikTok up till 3 a.m.
It's not good, but at the end of the day, like it's much more satisfying than scrolling through a useless Facebook feed of nonsense. When you're on TikTok, you're like laughing, you're entertained, you're learning something. There's just a lot of interesting, really amazing creators that it has exposed to us and exposed them. Like nobody knew about how many amazing singers, dancers, artists, incredible creativity that exists really only on TikTok because it's not saturated by all the other social types of things.
Yeah, because I like how it's targeted to what you normally watch. So like my TikTok feed is literally like funny videos, stock TikToks, career stuff, and then poker videos.
Right. So they've really nailed that for the user's perspective, and from the creative perspective, they've really done an amazing job at making it very easy to create within the app. So that's why I think it works.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. I mean, so do you have any idea on how easy it is to monetize content on TikTok?
I don't really have an idea of how to do that because I think what I mix a little bit of money on the creators fund. There are those things, but really the best of my knowledge is that monetization comes after you build your following in any other way. Once you build enough people who will either show up for a hard ticket show that you put together or buy merchandise, or you have enough of an audience that's loyal to you that they will trust you on brand recommendations, you're building value with this audience. You're not going to get less necessarily paid in the immediate native functions of the app. To me, the apps are means to build an audience. Once you build that audience, then you can think about, I don't know how TikTok's going to do this in the future, but YouTube has announced membership and subscriptions and Patreon and all these kinds of things. And you can join to be a member. I just got a notification or an email from YouTube about the membership program, and you can do 3-tier things. And for a while, it was just the Wild West. You just kind of did all this stuff, and it's a lot of front end work and not getting immediate pay for it. And I understand that. But what you're really doing is you're giving away, it's a Gary Vee idea, right? Like you're giving it all away. You're giving away so much value for free, and you're enriching people's lives and making them laugh and making them entertained that they'll be happy to support you in different ways. Zoom shows, live shows. As we move on to live shows, I mean, I'm hoping to put together a live set of comedy. Maybe it's a variety show of music, comedy, all these kinds of things. But I've been writing different stand-up stuff and different material so that I can actually like get a sense from TikTok or Instagram, wherever it may be, wherever the online attention is. Hey guys, gonna come to this city, sign up on this, whatever it is. And then they're paying you to see you. Or there's just straight up patronage from Patreon or YouTube membership. Where people are saying, I'll give this guy, I don't know if would you guys give me $2 to $5 a month to keep making funny videos?
Why not?
Of course.
So
you came on our show. Why not? Definitely.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, or $1 a month or $1 a year, if you get and like you have those 1,000 true fans out of, whatever it is, eventually I'm just hoping to keep at it and build up the audience enough so that monetization is an easy, effortless transition into that space of getting paid to keep doing what I'm doing.
Gotcha. So the real value comes from building a bunch of loyal followers that will use or watch your content, and from there it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah. Monetization is just an expression of that value in some way, but you have to build up that relationship. That's just the way entertainment works. You have to do the work first and then get paid for it, as opposed to other industries where you're paid a salary or a fixed income to do certain work.
Or an expectation.
It's just the nature of things. You do a lot of front end work, and it is a ton of work to post daily different videos and all that kind of stuff. But
it's definitely something that should still be
to build the audience, So hopefully coming up on 100,000 followers on TikTok soon. And I also want to feed people over to YouTube where I can post longer videos and do more high resolution stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, and you still view it as a business too, which is, I find really cool. I mean, that you have to kind of keep yourself focused on having to post every so frequently, every so often.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
TikTok is insane. Honestly.
I agree. I mean, it's an amazing thing, and it's allowed me to kind of really organically reach people, and I've been able to see the difference between an organic real following and the other things in the past where, people are going after followers without thinking about the content that the followers are going to be consuming.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge problem. I see videos on YouTube or TikTok and how to get 1,000 followers in 2 weeks. Like, why do you want 1,000 followers? What are you making? What do you want them to consume? Followers are useless if you're not making anything. the metric is like, it's going backwards. It's looking at the thing in reverse. You want the followers to be a reflection of a lot of people who are enjoying and valuing what you're doing so that you can keep doing what you're doing, not get followers, not doing what you're doing just to get followers or just to have followers qua having followers for the sake of that. If that's not going to have if there's no value currency exchange happening.
Yeah, that's a very interesting insight. So like 1,000 followers really doesn't do you any good if there's nothing for them to consume or they're not really that interested in your content.
Yeah, or there isn't any content,
Yeah.
There's people who just want 1 million followers. I think it comes from, it's an understandable thing. Everybody wants that. It's like that validation or that sense of, oh, how cool, there's a lure. But, or these ideas of buying followers or sub for sub. It's like, hey, let's sub for sub, let's sub for sub. It's like, okay, what are you making? Like, just like, it's kind of ridiculous. Imagine a restaurant full of people that didn't serve any food. It wouldn't make any sense. I just want a bunch of people in here paying. That would be great if I could just have a bunch of people in my building here paying. Okay, what are you doing? Well, I don't know, but I just want them all here, like as my customers. Okay, but customer implies there's a service. What's the service? What are you providing? What are you doing? No, I'm not doing anything, but I just want them all here supporting me and like validating me. That rat race is, I think, obviously misguided, and you have to think about what you're putting out there. And having followers so that you can sustain what you do, not do what you do so you can have followers.
Of course. So I had an idea for a skit, and I was wondering if we can do that on this podcast.
Okay.
So you're going to play Gary V as a bartender, and I'm going to be trying to order a drink at the bar. And just like, if Gary V was a bartender with his current aptitude and everything he does and everything he says, just say exactly what he would say.
Oh, sure. No problem.
Awesome.
Wait 1 minute. You need Gary V to show up. I got to get him.
Oh, of course.
Charlie, the fuck is that? Fucking love it.
What's up? Wait, bro, what?
I fucking crush bartending. On some real shit.
What's your favorite drink to get here?
I honestly, on some real shit, I love. It's a combination, but I call it sham positivity.
Sham positivity. What is that?
Yep. It's champagne with fucking love.
And you put the love in there
every time. Yep. Awesome. And I stir it with my fucking fingers because I believe in the fucking grind and doing it yourself.
Really? So how like have you done it yourself your whole life?
On some real shit, of course. And every time I fill you a cup, it's half fucking full.
Because
optimism. Because I love this question so much. I'm so full of optimism. It's just how I made. So every drink that I do is a reflection of that. Like too many people, they drink because they're sad, and it's sad. I drink to be happy. Don't you want to be happy?
Of course. I always want to be happy.
Great.
So do it, right?
Yep. Pour that shit. I usually make it out of nothing but fucking blueberries.
Yeah.
Fermented blueberries.
Still half full?
Always. Over fucking flowing, okay?
Half full, but still overflowing.
You get it.
Yeah. You're quoted as saying skills are cheap, passion is priceless. Are you a passionate bartender?
On some real shit. Like, honestly, every single drink of mine I'm releasing as an NFT.
Dude, oh my Lord.
Every napkin has a fucking doodle in my bar, right?
Yeah.
The passionate platypus, right?
Uh-huh.
The positive pussy williger. It's amazing.
Oh,
I don't even know what a pussy williger is. I made up that animal, but believe me, on some real shit, it's amazing.
It's
You'll find a little fingernails bits so everyone can get a piece of me inside them when they drink. I usually put a couple of my fingernails as I make the drinks, like, because I believe giving people value and giving them a piece of yourself, literally, even in your fucking fingernails, is so important. Like, on some real shit, so important.
It's just about the grind.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
Awesome.
that was
fantastic.
Yeah, that was fire.
Okay, guys.
I wish I could do stuff like that. That's
Okay.
Easy.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I now also I need to do some more research. I mean, I hear he's launching an NFT collection, and that's like a pretty big deal. But I don't know enough about that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, and I don't want to pretend to know anything about it or jump on any kind of train.
yeah, I was gonna.
Are we still doing the bit, or are we talking for real now?
We're just talking for real now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, everyone chases the whole crypto craze and all that, and it's cool, but you know, it's tempting to just get in on something you have no understanding of, just because it feels like, oh, it's such a peer pressure, collective peer pressure thing. And I get it, but I don't get it. You know, it sounds intriguing. It sounds like an interesting space that will become something we all understand one day. But I can't pretend to know. I bought like one Litecoin a few years ago, and just I'm watching it up and down. I'm in no space to be, you know. Obviously, we all wish we can go back to 2009 and buy 100 Bitcoin at 6 cents and be zillionaires. But you know.
No, I completely agree. That's something we kind of talk a lot about on the show, and I'm still pretty hesitant as far as like fully using it as like an investment tool. I don't know. It is definitely a growing area, and there's just so many people that do believe it has value, and so therefore it kind of does have value. So I don't know. It's just something we talk about a lot.
Yeah, I'm not even dismissing it. I'm just admitting I'm not dismissing it having value or having potential. I'm acknowledging my ignorance of this space. And my only inclination to buy it is because a bunch of people seem to be going crazy about it. Not because I really see any wisdom in my own self to get in on it.
Exactly.
I'm still not sure it has any actual value. We'll see on that.
Well, essentially, I get it. If you buy a Gary V token that can give you access to his VCon conference, you know, which I plan on crashing. I'm just kidding. But maybe we'll see.
I wonder if he'd even let you in.
Well, he's a fan, actually. He's a good sport. He comments on videos. He likes different
stuff. That's so funny if like he just like you walk in and then he's just like, "Who are you?" And then you just talk in his voice and be like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, I know. That would be a fun thing at VCon. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe I said it here and I manifested that it'll happen. So that'll be funny.
That'd be insane. But you talked about your music career a little bit. Can you go in more depth about like if you've done any cool like theme songs for shows that we might know or like our viewers might know or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know if you guys watch regular commercials anymore, but I've done a ton of commercials for, you know, Jeep and Nike and Adidas and Apple and a bunch of different car commercials and other different things. And then I've done theme songs for there's a show for kids called Archibald's Next Big Thing. It's on Netflix. It's a kid's show. I did the theme song with my band for that one. Yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff. Done some stuff for the city of San Diego tourism that I've used songs of mine that they've used in different television campaigns and whatnot. But a lot of what's called sync licensing, which is, you know, using your songs for the purposes of syncing to be used in films, trailers, ads, those kinds of things. So that's been a big part of my business for a good part of a decade. And in addition, I've made records. Anyone who wants to hear my music can go check out Distant Cousins on Spotify, indie folk pop trio. We've put out a couple of albums and are still going.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So you can go check out distantcousinsofficial.com. That's where like a lot of my music is. That occupies a lot of my musical
awesome
stuff.
No, that's super cool. And so if you were always a musician and stuff, I mean, how did you kind of get interested in like parodying Gary Vee and like all sorts of like business people personas?
Yeah, I mean, I've always done funny, but not in a performance like space. I wasn't like doing stand up I was performing on stages as a musician, but not as a comedian. Not for any conscious choice other than I was just busy on the musical side of things. And then like I said earlier, with TikTok, I started using that as an outlet, and it became an outlet for a lot of comedy. Once I did the Gary Vee stuff, I said, oh, this is a cool angle because there's a lot of there's a lot of like guru business entertainment people that are easy fodder for humor. I've done Tim Ferriss. I've done jokes about Ty Lopez. I've done videos of, all these different kinds of people.
I saw Elon one.
I did Elon Musk. Yeah, there's a bunch.
Elon one was funny. I like that one. That was
So there's that's just in one area. Simon
Sinek. So accurate. On how he actually was on that show.
Just scouring the internet for what's funny and funny to make fun of, and I'm just out to be to do funny, not necessarily to be a Gary Vee impersonator or a Jordan Peterson impersonator, or anyone in particular. I do that a lot because I find funny. If I see something and I think of something funny, I post it. I don't overthink it.
Yeah. And so also here at like Post Grad Academy, we kind of like try to give people who are kind of graduating from school or still going through school some sort of guidance. And so I was wondering, I mean, on your personal education, did you feel like you didn't get enough? You got too much? Was it worth it? Was there anything you'd recommend?
Yeah, I went to the Berklee College of Music for college, where I learned, where I studied music for film and TV and a couple of other things. But I will say, honestly, School gives you the false sense of preparedness when you head out into the working world. And
Right.
it's good for teaching you some technical jargon, but the most learning you will do is when you start working in the actual world. Your first job, your first year on your first job will teach you more than school ever could. School is like a microcosm, fake mock world that they try to create, and these anticipate what a project looks like, but everything is pretend. So nothing is really ingraining you with the skills yet to apply. It's once you get into the world that you're actually working that you can actually learn real consequential things that can help build up your human capital and your skill set. So just be open and humble going out into the world. So many students think, it's like, when you're a freshman in high school, you're humble. Then you get to senior year, you're like, yeah. Then you get to freshman college, you're like, oh my God, I'm at the bottom again.
Yeah.
Head down. You get to senior year, you're like, I got this. The most off-putting quality, I think, going in is an overzealous quality of somebody who thinks they have authority and experience when in fact they don't. So being humble, open-minded, kind, and ready to work hard and do what's needed, and be open to learning, ask, and just be a receptacle for that stuff to help, because the truth is everybody knows you have no experience. You're totally green going out into the working world. So it's very important to, I started as an intern working for free for about a year in the commercial music space, just taking in what I could. I learned more in that year than I ever did in college. And it's not school's fault, really. It's just, it is what you make it, and you have to take the initiative and you have to be proactive. School does not guarantee you anything, and it doesn't set you up to all of a sudden have success. You get to the top of that hill, that school, and then you're at the foot of a giant mountain. And you're at the very beginning, you know nothing, and that's okay. Taking that experience, 10 years down into the road, you can start to exert more confidence, more authority, and people understand that, and it comes naturally because you've had actual experience to be able to.
Yeah, so most of the actual value comes from the experience that you have.
Absolutely. And then in terms of rapport, it's very important to remember that people are human beings. So it's a social game in any industry, pretty much, especially in the music and entertainment industry. Showing, the telltale signs of a rookie is when you open every email with, hello, my name is Charlie Tobin. I am a graduate of such and such. I have a degree in blah, 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 blah. Just dropping all these things that you have. It's just a giveaway. So I would just advise trying your best to be human and be charming without being snarky and obnoxious. The most effective ways I've had emailing people is by, hey, I see you're in LA too. Oh my God, I'm actually from the East Coast. I see you're from New York also. I totally miss the seasons, but hey, I got to say LA's pretty nice and hard to complain that LA, whatever. I'm talking about things that are going on, on a personal note. And then I get to whatever I need to get to. Was wondering if you had any free time on Wednesday to just get some coffee, and, I had some questions, and I love what you've worked on such and such project. I'd love to hear more about it. If you had time, 20, 30 minutes, let me know at your convenience what works for you, and if you had time to meet with me. And I opened with something human and normal, and then asked for, whatever it is. I didn't, the least effective things are dropping your degrees, what you're about.
Make the relationship
your interpersonal, the way you interact with people is not resumeing,
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that. They want to get a vibe. They have to buy you before they buy anything that you can do.
That's great.
And it's a very, very big indicator that you're totally new when you're going around handing out business cards before talking to people, or like connecting with somebody. Like, talk to people, be a human being. It's hard because it's scary, and you know that you have nothing to offer and everything to gain. But that's a given.
Yeah, that's super good advice. I like that a lot.
Sorry, my dog's barking.
All good. And I know that there are these like skill classes on how to network and how to do this and how to present yourself and how to get the right business card. But first, it's about getting a vibe from somebody who says, yeah, that seems like a good guy. I'll give him a time of day, or, whatever it is.
Getting them to kind of like you and accept you.
Yeah.
Yes. Socially, like anything. You wouldn't walk up to a girl at a party or whatever and say like, I am good at sports. I have fine qualities. I like decent movies. I have good taste in this. I am fun to hang out with. You would talk, and she'd get that vibe, or whatever it is, whatever your preference. But they would get that vibe from you in a relationship, like anything, by you being as best yourself as you can.
Yeah, that's super cool. And you can apply that to like building your own brand on social media stuff.
Sure.
Like that.
Yeah, and it takes time, and you have to get comfortable at it, and just remember that part of it.
Yeah,
awesome.
Sounds good.
So I believe we are almost out of time, but thank you so much for coming on to the pod. It was the Post Grad Academy, really appreciates it. All of our viewers, however many of us there are, even though we're new,
All
That was
good.
fun. Appreciate
sure to-
it.
Awesome.
Make
Make sure you
to
always
check
like and
out.
subscribe. Do you have anything you want to plug for your own social media or someone to check out, someone new coming?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, you can follow me at AJ Comedy on TikTok. I think it's AJ Comedy, at AJ Comedy on Instagram, at AJ Comedy on YouTube, also at Ami Kozak Official on YouTube. Either one of those handles should work. And yeah, please subscribe on all the platforms to make sure that if any one of them crashes, you can still know where to find me. So
Awesome.
appreciate your time, guys, and happy
Yeah.
to answer your
Check
questions.
out the Distant Cousins on Spotify.
Check out this on Spotify as well.
We do have to have a Gary Vee impression telling people to check out this podcast, though. I mean, that's only right?
Honestly, it's gonna be a hard fucking no. Ready? Because like, if you ask me to dance monkey dance without offering anything of value, no, I'm just kidding. You offered a lot of value because I would have a real meaningful conversation. So I'm gonna say post grad academy. Like, I love that because post grad, right, is so important because I don't believe in grad, I don't believe in academy, and I don't believe in fucking school. Right? Go to a fucking garage sale. That's your post grad.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I love it.
Right? Like,
Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, tell all your friends, tell your dog, tell Gary Vee. We're getting Gary Vee on this podcast to talk to you.
on some real shit. You just had him, okay? Like, I believe in authenticity so much. So like, there's nothing like the real thing.
Gotcha.